They make crazy stuff. How you guys doing? Good morning. Some of us don't sound excited to be here this morning. I said, how are you guys doing? I don't speak when people are not happy. Auntie, smile now. No, that's fake smile. Auntie, try again. Aha, now that's original. How's everyone doing? Okay, so let me give you an extra minute to write out what you wanted to write down for me. I suppose. Oh, yeah, I have slides today. God. So, nothing frustrates me more than using slides. But, I mean, it's part of the work, has to be used. The reason is, on my way here, I can start to change everything on the slide. As the spirit leads. And so, I really need to apologize on behalf of my team. Our slides are not as amazing as Techboss' slide. You know, thank you. Finally, I get to control what I want to control. Okay. Are you guys locked in? Are you ready for me? Alright. I want to know now, how long do I have up till? Eh? That means call favor that I'm not available. I have up to what? 3 p.m. Okay. That gives me 2 hours, 25 minutes. Don't worry. It will come and go and feel like 30 minutes. You have my word. You have my word. Alrighty. I'll try to finish in about 2 hours because I want to take questions for 25 minutes. Does that work?
Yes.
Fantastic. Alright. Hi. How you doing? Now, before I begin, is it okay that I get to meet the people I'm speaking with? I mean, one-on-one. So I'd like everyone to... You know what? Is there anyone here who just started as a realtor this year? Which just started? You literally just started. Or anyone who's been in the game for up to 5 years? Okay? Anyone who's been in the game for up to 3 years? Do you mind? Do you mind? Do you mind? You mind? Nigerians. God! Oh my God! You know, we're having this conversation in the US, and I was the team of Realtors. They won't need to share their numbers. Their numbers are already based on public record, except if they decide to hide it personally. Many times I think we also need to learn to embrace communicating our numbers sometimes. It's not as a point of show off, but sometimes enough to inspire other people. And in some vein for you, people to hold you accountable some way or another. So it's just as simple as, okay, in 2023 I sold properties of 75 million, last year I did 190 million, you know what I'm saying? That's progress. But anyways, it's okay not to say, it's okay to mind. The reason I did that was I wanted to know the people I was speaking with, to know how long you've been in the game, and what exactly I would love to address with respect to that. So I'm happy that I now understand the people I'm speaking with. And I do not believe that there's any other conversation that you rather have to grow your career as a realtor than this particular one. And so over the course of the next 2 hours, I'm going to expose to you, in my opinion, one of the major secrets to building a career as not only a salesperson, but as even a C-level executive. So are you ready? Alright, so hope you had a great time yesterday. And how many of us have started acting upon what I said yesterday? Did you send mails or messages to people? Amazing, have you got any responses so far?
Yes, I am.
You have! Do you mind sharing or you mind like you? Do you mind? You don't mind? Amazing. Now hit us. What are the 3 things they said they liked about you? How many people did you ask?
4.
Oh wow, and all 4 gave you responses?
Yes, they did.
Come on, hit me. I like that.
So
Let me guess, one of them said the thing they like about you is your smile. Or like, you're amiable, something like that. Did anybody say that? Or this is a facade?
not in the exact word.
Okay.
So
Tell me.
mostly what was same or was similar for the four persons I contacted was the fact that they all said I was hardworking and resilient.
They all said hardworking and
Yes.
resilient.
I mean, both of them, like those two words were
I like that.
what I actually got from the
Everyone.
persons I contacted.
Wow.
Then something I need to improve.
Work on, yes. Speak freely.
Most people could not. I noticed that there were always. I did not get more responses from that.
Absolutely. Maybe
Yeah,
you try to run
because-
away from that.
Yes.
In fact, next time you're sending a message, tell them your response in the B section means more to me than your response in the A section.
Okay. So the person that told me, that gave it to me straight
I like that. What
was
does it say?
the person said that I need to be more confident.
Good.
That I need to connect and speak out more.
I love that.
That because in his words he said people that are not as intelligent as I am.
Oh, stop. You're already saying part of what I want to say today.
He hear them talk more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always, just keeping to myself.
Alright.
So I need to speak out more. I need to be more confident and I need to read more.
Amazing. Write this down. Boldness is a bigger ingredient for success than intelligence. Boldness is a more vital ingredient to success than intelligence. Many of us will learn this the hard way. That influence only favors the bold. It doesn't favor the most knowledgeable or the wisest. If you fail to step out of your boat and face head on what needs to be faced, no one will give you a look into. I'm really honest. Very rarely would you find perfect blends of bold and intelligent people. Very rarely. Very rarely. People who are bold, who will come out and say things and be so dauntless in the face of adversity, and at the same time have so much depth, and be able to really hold their own when shit hits the fan. First and foremost, we're in a Nigerian society that exalts audacity more than depth, and that's the truth. Because if not, why is Bob Risky being followed by millions of people? I'm asking why. Is it that Shim is amazing? Or Shim is so intelligent? No. Tell that I would say Shim, not it. So think about it. When you're conflicted, I don't know when that guy manager last. But because he picks up the phone every single time and says, I'm hottest than all the fine girls in this Nigeria. There's a reason your sugar daddies are chasing after me. And many times it starts from humor. But a whole lot of us, one way or another, are just naturally attracted to people who are bold, regardless of the degree of their fooling. No matter how stupid they are, no matter how irritating they sound, as long as someone is bold, people gravitate towards them. See, if you learn this, it will change your life. The average person is drawn to a confident person. Some of the men, I'll continue, don't worry. Some of the power through from here or from there. Okay. Good boys in your secondary school that got the finest babes. We're not the most handsome. You know what I'm talking about. And yes, the fine boys are just repeating in one corner and losing all the hottest chicks. Babes love guys with charisma. And whether you like it or not, charisma is just 20% handsomeness. is 75% comportment and confidence. I know what I'm telling you. And the same with business, and the same with almost everything that you do. People are attracted to boldness, and that's the truth. And so the degree to which you are bold many times determines what will be left of you or what you'll be able to command. But let me not get ahead of myself. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I really do hope that today marks the beginning of that boldness from you. Amen? Amen. I said amen? Amen. I want to hear from her. Amen. Okay. Don't worry. When you're done, I believe boldness can be learned, but it can also be impacted. Right? And then the impartation can come through learning, yes, but sometimes from just the spirit in the room. You can learn to live here and, be bolder, particularly when it has to do with attaining your goals. So, personal branding, building a recognizable and profitable identity. Slide 1. Can anyone guess who this is? Who wears this cap? Donald Trump, the way filler. Peaky Blinder. Villa. Peaky Blinder. No? No, that doesn't know Donald Trump too. No. Okay, isn't it Donald Trump's hair? No, that's just what is his hair now. That one is cold now. No. Anybody that gets it wins. No, don't worry. So someone is close. You're very close. Okay. Have you ever seen this face before? Huh? Anybody seen that face before? You can tell me the name of the person. His name is Debola Lagos. Debola Williams, popularly called Debola Lagos. He's the CEO, not the CEO anymore, but founder of Red Media Africa. He's responsible for some of the greatest branding efforts across the continent. He's been reputed to have gotten at least 3 presidents elected across Africa. That's Debola Lagos. Or Debola Williams, popularly called Debola Lagos. Okay, can I move on? Huh? Hoping you get the next one. Who is this? Look at that. Unequivocally, without doubting, everybody could tell. 100, and that was who? T-O-E. I love that. Now we're getting there. Who is this? Who said T.Y. Bello?
I did.
Oh, you're a photographer. Yeah, you're a cheat. Auntie T.Y. I could popularly call her. One of Nigeria's greatest exports in the creative industry to the world. Amazing. Next slide. Oh wow. What gave it away? The hair or the Igbo? Bad children. They were bad children. Yeah. When you hear cement, what comes to mind? Oh wow. I'm getting there. Quick question. When your name is mentioned, what will come to people's minds? Huh? I didn't hear you. When I say Zazu, what comes to mind? Huh? When I say someone is rough, nasty looking, behaves in a boisterous manner, who comes to mind? It's still portable. When I tell you that there's a Nigerian musician who goes around shirtless, wears a chain, Whiskey wears singlets. Burna Boy goes shirtless in many cases. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is, I know I have given visual examples, but I need you to understand something. This is where I'm going to begin from. Many times, no matter how interesting something looks or how nasty it looks, people always identify it and associate it with someone else. Are you getting what I'm saying? If I asked all of us in this room to describe our star, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Look at that. It's always miniskirt. And after miniskirt, you talk about her lyrical brilliance. Yes or yes? Her voice texture and how she sings so well. Yes or yes? I like that. My question to you this morning is very simple, and I repeat. When your name is mentioned, what comes to people's minds? You know, for some of you might not know me, which is okay, by the way. I get to places to speak everywhere, and then people say, oh my God, your videos bless me, oh my God, listen to you change my life, oh my God, you are the speaker I've been waiting for. I usually went to 2 days ago, a guy flew all the way from Kano, just because he saw that I was one of the people on the speaking list. And I'm happy that he got value for his money because his mind was blown. I said, oh great, that's amazing, thank you very much. And then I get a lot of people make statements like, you inspire me, you motivate me to do better, I'm blessed, blah, 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 and I love it. But let me tell you that as cute as those accolades and commendations sound, they don't really get to me as much as when I go to maybe a quick service restaurant to grab a very, 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 very quick bite. Maybe I run into the place because I like their food, and I say, okay, let me get food. And then the place attendant goes, oh my God, Mr. Olushola, I watch you every day. And you've been a blessing to my life and by helping me transform my mind. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a bigger comment to me than that of other people seeing me at an average event and telling me they love me. I'll tell you why. It's because for me, proof of my identity or my branding is when there's consistency across board in what people say. It's cute for people within your social bracket or people within your expertise level to commend you. But a different level when somebody who probably does not have your same educational qualifications says the same thing about you. So my question to you this morning is, in the next 1 year when I ask you, when your name is mentioned, what comes to people's minds? You have to ensure that it is something solid and something consistent. And I'll tell you why. If I were to ask you what branding is, the average person, when they hear the word branding, think about the logo. Yes. And after a logo, some think about the letterhead, some think websites. And that's what, I don't blame them, because it's one of the major pitfalls of many people who call themselves branding agencies. I've gotten wrong over the past couple of years. Brand. What do you do? I'm into branding. You know what the branding is? Printing. They print sticker. They print this one, and I think that's all there is to branding. Wait a minute. Branding is not just a logo, branding is repetition. Branding is association. Branding is perception. Branding is a reputation and an overall experience that people have with you or your business. I take that again. Branding is what? Repetition. Now, what repetition means here is that you don't build a brand overnight. You build a brand by showing up a certain way consistently. Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
By showing up what? a certain way consistently. So branding is repetition. Branding is association. There has to be something people can say that when they see you, reminds them of you. Or you remind them of something. This is important. It could be a phrase. Anybody ever heard the word the catalyst before? Who comes to mind? Olushola. Have you ever heard the word Jagaban before? Who comes to mind? Sometimes it doesn't have to be a nickname. Sometimes it can be something that you do. Anybody ever heard the word Sapphire event before? Sapphire. Huh? Anybody? Anybody ever heard Jennifer before? Who comes to mind? In fact, I've gone to a point where some people the nicknames have become more popular than they themselves.
Yes.
Or what it is they do has become popular.
Don't speak.
Or when you think about music executives in Africa, the first name that comes to mind is Don Jazzy. It's not a nickname in this quote and unquote now, but it's the fact that he has built himself so strongly that you can't name anybody or anything in that industry without putting him first. So his repetition, his association, his perception. Perception is everything, guys. Perception is everything. I'm telling you. And almost everything I'm going to be talking about this morning is with respect to perception. Oh my God. No one will pay you more money than they perceive that you are worth. Everything is perception. I'll give you a very short story. I did a video recently that talked about looking the part on my Instagram. And one guy gave a very mind-blowing comment. He said his mom is a tailor. And on a particular day, she was to go to a client's house to measure her. A client had introduced her to our other friends, and so she was to go measure all of them. And on this particular day, her younger brother was around, who was this guy's uncle. And you know what she did? She told the uncle, quickly give me your Range Rover. Let me take it to this client's place. And next thing she got there, came down from the Range Rover, entered the car. All of them, their jaws almost dropped. And they were almost looking at the person that linked them up, like, which kind of person you link us up with? What's happening? Are you people okay? This person can buy me. She should just be running away. And then she didn't say a word. And so as she began to measure them, there's a way people perceive your value, and they have to be the ones confessing way ahead of time. And so I said, madam, easy with the bill, you know. We don't have more than 50,000 naira per cloth. Whereas, the woman was never going to charge up to 50K per cloth. But what made the difference in that case was just the fact that they felt like if she comes looking this way, she will definitely be worth this amount of money. Now listen, I'm not asking you to go and rent a Range Rover into your lawn. I'm simply trying to show you that you must understand consumer and customer psychology. I repeat, nobody will pay you more than they perceive that you are worth. And there's a way you can re-engineer or construct the perception of people about you. And that's what makes you powerful. Let's move on. I said branding is reputation also. Someone put it this way. Branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Branding is reputation. What are you reputable for? Gone to 10 people's heads. What will they say about you? Any detail about you that sticks to their brains and their minds more than anything else? These are the questions I want to ask. Branding is reputation. Some of us are reputable for all the wrong things. You're reputable for being the guy that borrows money and never returns it. All these things affect it too. You get some kind of smelling behavior that will stay in your white. Some of us, or some people, not some of us, some people, they have slept with their future helpers. Because everything is scared that you go after. To the point that no one takes you seriously as anyone that ever comes meaning well. Or anyone that will ever leave business as business. What's your reputation? Are you known as the guy that has only one shirt? What's your reputation? Like I said earlier, one of the great things about this is that you can always change things about your reputation, and it's never too late. For some people, it will take a longer time than others, but for some others, it will be even faster. Because you can always start almost on a clean slate. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's very important. And so, I want to say I'm going to ask a question. Which one?
No, I just wanted to say something that resonates with this perception, this is going with
Go ahead, sir.
So it has to do with a colleague of mine who said it's a civil servant, he did something for someone and then decided to take drop to go and deliver the job for that.
Drop?
Yes.
In Abuja?
Yeah. So when he's done delivering the parcel, so we ask him, when you park your
Car.
I said, I know you need to come back. But I think it was maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. So then he came up with 2018 drop. So he gave him 2000 to take drop. So he then some other time again, I think like 2 weeks later, so he did something for him again and he came that day. So at this time around, to correct that impression, he had to call him and ask him whether there's a parking lots around. So that was how he told him, like just somebody would come and lead him and park. So then when he was leaving that day, the same person that was giving 2,000 to take drop, he gave him 20,000 to fuel. So I think
thank you very much.
The idea of
it does, absolutely. And thank you for that brilliant one. I wanted to keep more examples in the pocket for later. But I'll tell you one or two. One day, one of my members in my church, one of my church members came to me and I was just talking randomly. And he said, "Oh, Pastor, there's something I want to share with you." I said, "What happened?" We were talking randomly and just bantering. And he said, one of his friends went for a contract. And his friend was denied the contract because of the kind of car he was driving. Okay. As if that were not enough, I heard that this is common practice with some contractors and the people who give them contracts. That when people go to lobby for contracts, when they're done, people follow them to the car to see what it is that they came with. I know someone is thinking here, how does that matter? How does the car I drive increase the possibility of how efficient I'm going to be? Let me ask you a simple question. Between a page on social media that sells an item you want but has 55,000 followers and is verified, and another page that has just 100 followers and no verification, which would you buy from if their prices are the same? Now hold on. If the verified one's price is about 10% higher, will you still buy from them?
Yes.
Why?
Assurity.
Come again?
Assurity.
It's called proof of concept. Proof of what?
Concept.
Concept. No one will give you more money than they think you've handled before. Write it down. So you will not forget. No one will give you more money than they think you've handled before. Particularly for you people that are doing real estate. Nobody wants to write off a check of 50 million naira to you now, if they don't see you as someone that has handled at least 10 million before. You know why? Because nobody wants to test the waters with their money. And they believe that if they give a novice money, you will use their money to learn work. You people do it. You do it. You do it. You do it. You do it. If you see a man properly suited with a tie and lovely shoes on the elevator, you greet him with more respect than you greet someone coming down with slippers. Except you want to be a hypocrite. We all do it. And which is why men always look on the outward, only God looks on the inside. And so you must understand the container content dynamics. The fact that it is the presentation of the container that determines if you will even have an opportunity to show your content. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
This is very important. So yes, branding is perception. Branding is reputation. Branding is the overall experience that people have with you or your business. Next slide. Reputation means consistently showing up in a way that reinforces your identity. Whatever it is you call yourself, you must always show up that way. Amen?
Amen.
Whatever it is you call yourself, you must always show up that way. This is very important. Very, very, very important. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Association means you have to be linked to specific qualities, values, or visuals in people's minds. When you hear the name Ibukun Awoshika, what comes to your mind? Huh? First Bank, I like that. Focus, straightforward, honest. A 360 woman. Like it or not, no matter how great he has been as a music artist in Nigeria, when you hear the name Two-Face, you think of baby mamas. Yes or yes? That's association. Hey! When you hear that video, you think of baby mamas also. Listen, branding is not just what you do intentionally. Branding is also a summation of the things you do subconsciously. Two-Face never stepped out with the hope of being the baby mama leader or baby daddy leader in Nigeria, or the chieftain of the association of baby daddies in the continent. But it turned out to be that way because of his actions or inactions. So association, and you must be very careful. Very careful. There's a reason I don't show up to every event. There's a reason I don't accept every collaboration. For example, I don't influence for any real estate company. Amen? I speak for them, I don't influence for any. My reasons, which I don't think I'm willing to share now. Should I share?
Yes.
Do you know one of the craziest associations real estate companies have in Nigeria now is with fraud? Should I talk? I should go. Fraud. And you guys have a lot to do to correct that impression. Am I being recorded? Eh? So I won't say something. 5 of the leading real estate companies in Lagos, over the course of the last 2 to 3 years, have all been associated with either taking stuff from people and not presenting the same land to them. Techboss, Am I saying the truth or am I not? I'm friends with some of the people in Redden. I told one of them recently, I said, Kilo Shelley, how has this thing impacted your business? What's happening? They said, they know. Now they're trying to do reforms and things to change the whole thing. But imagine selling the same acre to 3 people, hoping that one will die, another one will have memory loss. You are tainting the image of that same industry and spoiling work for the people coming after you. Association. So it's not just many times what you do intentionally, but sometimes what you even do unintentionally. I know, by the way, no one steals unintentionally. A thief is a thief. Barao is barao. Some people in the real estate industry are known to be modern day enemies. I don't offense for anyone. Not because if I post a property for you, see, I have influence. If I post property for you today, in 1 hour, you will sell out all the acres you have. But I am not. Because I have a brand I'm trying to build and it must be associated with integrity. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there are real estate companies that don't have integrity. Many have. I've made a lot. A whole lot. But because I don't want any form and sense of drama, I want to be associated with something entirely different. But why I said I speak for them is I speak for the very genuine ones. And obviously, after speaking for you, I'll post online, I did this, and that's some form of association, yes or yes? But some of the most well-meaning celebrities and HNIs in this country have had their integrity stained forever by the misdeeds of some of these real estate people. Tony Abraham cannot sell anything real estate again in this Nigeria. People will buy. Maybe for another 20 years. But there's also a reason for Capitale can sell and keep selling. Is that clear? Are you aware that it wasn't Tony Abraham's fault that those guys messed up? For Funke, it's a lot easier because she's involved in the process and she's putting her integrity on the way. Are you getting what I'm saying? There's a lot of things to look at, though. I'm just telling you by the way. So, association, qualities, visuals in people's minds.
Sorry,
yes, sir.
Okay, sir, you used 2 case points here.
Yes.
The Toye Abraham and also that of Funke.
Yes.
So you say she was more involved in the process?
Yeah, more involved because she co-owns a large expanse of Amen Estate. You don't know that?
I've heard of it. That's Jennifer Estate.
The Jennifer Garden.
Jennifer Garden by
You see our property selling for like 4 and 5. I'm doing promo for them. But yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, go ahead.
So what you're saying now in essence is that one of the key things that for you to put us integrity at stake, you have to be involved in the process.
Not necessarily involved, you must understand and check the track record of the people you're partnering with. Let me explain. I'll just give it real estate as an example and myself as an example, right? We do due diligence personally before I partner with anyone. Are you getting my point? So there's a reason. You might say you want to go and collect small change, but that small change, see, are you aware it's not every real estate company you must partner with as a realtor? Huh? Are you aware that when as they are arresting the real estate, you know for arrest before they go to, okay, let's leave that one, that's not why we're here. Let's focus on why we're here. Perception. Perception is how people see and interpret your brand. Are people's views consistent with what you had in mind? That's a question for me to ask you. So when you ask people, that when they hear the name Olushola, what comes to their mind? And I said, oh, Olushola, I hear music. Music how? Beat, go. Do you understand? It has to be consistent. Very consistent. If not, you do yourself a huge disservice. For example, a call into personal branding is a call into intentionality in everything you do. How you dress, who you talk to, and where you are seen. If you catch me in a nightclub and it's posted online, I lose 25% of my integrity because some people see me as a beacon of morality. Are you getting what I'm saying? And my goal is not to be explaining that, not all nightclubs are bad. They don't want to hear. There's a reason before you throw your weight behind a political leader. You must think 10 times over. Lest you crumble in 1 year, what took you 30 years to build. You must be intentional. Very intentional. And reputation is the credibility and the trust you build over time. Experience, blah, 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 blah. But anyways, let's go to the crux of today. What's the real branding problem? One of the craziest excuses I hear people say a lot, and I think is super terrible, is the statement, my industry is oversaturated. Listen, there is no industry that is not oversaturated. And scratch that. There's also no industry that is oversaturated. Here's what I mean. There's no industry that is not oversaturated means that there is no industry on the face of the earth where there are not so many people. There's nothing you ever plan to do right now and nobody has thought of before. Tell me, is it dog shit you want to start selling? People have done it. If you want to sell cow breast, people are in the industry. If you want to start a business where people wash their yash, people are in that industry in the UK. Ask some of your neighbors that I traveled to the last 10 years, what they are doing. Think about it. Every industry is saturated. But guess what? In the same vein, there is no industry that is oversaturated. You know why? What you have is not an oversaturated market. What you have are people approaching businesses the same way. The question is, what will stand you out? The only way to build a standout brand in an overly saturated market is to do something that makes you unforgettable. 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 In this room, there are currently about 20 realtors. When I leave here, I'm likelier to remember this man and the other man at the back, not for any reason, but because they asked me questions. And so if they walk up to me next 3 weeks at a conference, I'm likelier to remember who and what they look like than remembering her. I'm likely to remember you because you just tell me I'm the lady that needs to be bolder. There isn't any major fundamental difference between how every single one of you look. At least with your clothes. You all look nicely dressed. Even though for some reason I'm kind of drawn to Ankara. And the way she layered it with the scarf and pretty much everything. And in some way it stands out. Are you getting what I'm saying? Don't just be one of the bunch. Stand out. I went to speak at a conference 2 days ago. Oh my God. As I was done speaking, people always chase me, so they come to the back, but this time around I was trying to run to the back to use the restroom before they were done with the conference. So I ran to the back to use the restroom. So I got to the restroom door. As I was coming out, one guy just comes up to me and goes, "Hi." First and foremost, he was so good looking, handsome guy. But guess what? There are many handsome men in the world. Ladies need to learn this, that you are pretty is only 5% out of 100. Okay, God help you, you have a clean skin. That's 10% or 15%. God now helped you, you have a big behind. I'm speaking to adults here, I can speak yes or yes. Who said that some ladies, Today, we are in front of 20 acres of land. And in front of these expanse are 55. Nobody's buying your land. They are buying your land. You know what you are selling. And let me tell you something. It can help you close some heavy deals, but you have built a negative reputation all your life as the lady that trades her body for a check. I hope I'm not in a room with people who want to build hit and run brands. The people who want to build things that are sustainable and will work over time. Stop that you'll be able to look at your children in the face 20 years from now and say, I built this from the ground up with a solid reputation. Will you be able to say that after your years active in the industry, 30 years after, I've defrauded no man? Is that the one I'm after? And so the man walks up to me right after I left the toilet and he goes, Hi, Olushola. My name is, told me his name, and he says, I sell yam for a living. I looked at him, yam.
Ishulonta.
I said, Dum. He said, yes. And he showed me his brand name, dumdum.ng. And I go, wow, I'm interested. Let me tell you why. You could have just said, I sell chops, I sell African chops, I sell. Saying you sell yam for a living is very strange and awkward. Because to the average African parent, you are a total failure. But did it captivate you or not? But what if I told you that many of you, the difference between having statements that captivate people and the ones that don't captivate people is that you have neglected your core competence and you have tried to look like what you are not. What do you do? I sell property. Are you being funny? I've met 1 million people that sell properties. What do you do? There has got to be something you will tell me that has to stand you out. I'm still coming to that. It was Yasikan who said if you don't have an introduction, you must be ready for a rejection. You must have an introduction. There must be something you tell people, for example, that separates you from the bunch. I'm coming to that in a bit, but let's keep moving. So the real branding problem is not that the market is saturated. The problem is that you're not learning how to brand yourself for profitability. So the question is, are you standing out in the industry or you're just somewhere in the crowd? Are you standing out in the industry or you're just somewhere in the crowd? Anybody here knows a real estate company called Ramos of Lagos Realty? Huh? That business was founded by my friend and schoolmate. We're in Coventry University together. His name is Inka Ramos. Great footballer. I coached him in school. Cool guy. Inka has always been a cute boy, quite tall, almost my height. Great guy. All around great guy. No issues, no problems. But some time ago, 6-7 years back, he stepped actively into the real estate scene. But he wanted to be different. And you know what he did? Everybody in the real estate industry was selling properties. He wanted to sell an experience that these people will foretaste of what they're about to buy. And so he was one of the very first few guys, far back 2017 and 18 and 19, that I saw invest stupid money in videography. While everybody was showing pictures, he was taking them on a tour of their dream homes. And the tours were not just random tours that you use with your iPhone 10. He spent money to make more money. And his page began to blow up and he was closing in on properties. Scattered around. And before you knew it, he made so much money. And about 3 years ago, he decided to go and repeat the same thing in Dubai. until you are doing something that makes you unforgettable, nothing will differentiate you from the other people in your industry that do what you do. My team will tell you, they have one mentality, particularly in my personal brand team. It is Olushola is not the same as any other person doing what he's doing in the continent of Africa. First and foremost, there is nobody around the age of 30 in Africa who wields my influence in business and leadership. Nobody. And even if there were ever anybody, they don't talk like me. They don't act like me. They don't appear like me. They don't leave you impacted the exact same way I do. Fact. So, branding is the very little pieces that you add to your craft that sets you apart. Everybody asks for inspection fee. I'm not saying don't ask for inspection fee. I'm saying do something a little bit more different than asking for inspection fee every time. It could be that for every property that they ask you to circulate or ask you to send out for people to come and buy, it could just be that maybe something within your power, as little as partnering with a friend of yours who you know has a drone machine. Imagine just going, hey my guy, let's strike a deal. I see you have a drone, I see you have a very lovely camera. I have property to sell. You have visual capacity that I do not have. Let's leverage and build a symbiotic relationship for a cost-effective marketing strategy. So let's do it this way. For every property I sell, I get 15%, right? Worst case scenario, I'm priced down to 10%, right? I want to do something. For every deal that I get, I'm going to give you 15% of my own 10%, which gives you about 1.5%. I'm very transparent with you. All you have to do is this. Escort me to that property and let people think I own it. Hold on. Just hold on. Hold on. Anybody here who doesn't know anyone who owns a camera? Okay? Anybody here who doesn't know anyone who is a videographer? Is there anybody here who doesn't know someone who at least has an iPhone 16? So my question is this. Currently in the real estate scene, if all five will very likely sell you the same property till you are tired. And many times, none of the property owners, or rather, none of those realtors who sell the same property act or look or have access to it. Yes or yes? And many times, it's not that you can't have access to it, that many of us have not asked. Because there's almost no real estate company that wants to sell a property that will not allow their marketers to skim through the entire expanse of land. But society has taught you to just go with the norm and conform to the existing standards in your day. And there's nothing standing you out. All your dealings are WhatsApp. As little as denying yourself the money for Bond Street or 400,000 to go and meet someone and tell the person, build me a Shopify website or get a domain name that has a .com behind it. And it could be jennyproperties.com. Let me tell you something. Many of your clients will not even visit your website, but knowing you have a website adds to your credibility. What are you doing different? What? Some of you, with all due respect, you maybe don't have the bunda of that lady that is saying, come and buy real estate. And you see, listen, I did a video recently that got viral. I said you can level up. Naturally, you are given ingredients at birth. Some people are taller than others. Some are naturally objectively more handsome than others. Amen? But are you aware that whatever nature or your genetics give you, you can't change? You can only improve upon it. Yes or yes? It's a foundation. So what do you build with your foundation? Do you just abandon it because it's 2-bedroom flat and it's not a mansion? There are some 2-bedroom flats that are finer than mansions. They are fine because people spent money working on the interior to make it what it is. And so the question is, have you invested in the interior of your life? As little as going to the gym. People say it's a waste of time. But if somebody shows up to my doorstep looking amazing and fit, I'm likelier to listen to him more than somebody who is short, very short, and has a very wide tummy at the age of 32. You can't wear native. The front, you can't even see. If you want to see what's under, you have to go like this. It doesn't just have health disadvantages. It also affects your social appeal. You can't wear top, shirt, and look like a man. I told you, carry your table well, because I will break it today. I warned everyone ahead. All these things matter. As little as learning how to speak well, these things matter. They don't matter. They add to it. When you want to talk to people, talk to them to their faces. There's something to Realtors. A friend of mine pointed it out to me. Whenever he's going on a handshake with anyone, his hand is on top. Shake me. This is how Tony shakes. It sends a non-verbal cue that is in charge. Let's continue. Are you standing out in your industry, or are you someone else in the crowd? So let's give you some personal branding tips. Number one, define your goals. Number one, what? Define your goals. If the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. And which is why, before you choose to brand anything or anyone or brand for anything, you must know what it is you are trying to brand for and ask. And so you must define your goals. I'm saying this because what ensures consistency in your personal branding is your goals. Don't leave this room branding as a real estate solution provider within Abuja, and next week you don't change brand to person where they sell chicken feed. Don't waste our time. What is your career goal? I'm not saying you can't pivot later in life, don't get me wrong. But I'm saying that because personal brands are built on the strength of consistency and repetition, you must be clear from the onset what your real goal is. So what's your goal? And I'll advise you, your personal brand and your goal, particularly the long-term ones, should not necessarily be around a particular niche 100%. Instead of saying, oh, I'm a realtor, you say I'm a real estate entrepreneur. Or I create or build financial solutions for people. And my major expressions are within the real estate space. Whatever the case is, but you must have clear goals that you set from the beginning. What are the short-term ones and the long-term ones? Quick question. And I want someone to answer me. In the next 10 years, what would you love to be known as and known for? Anybody? We will use you as case study. Come on, let's go. Hit me. Known for someone who builds resorts. Okay? Vacation resort. So if I were to define that for you, I'll say stuff like, you would love to be, right, maybe the founder or the CEO of a real estate company reputable for building affordable resort locations or vacation destinations for Nigerians, right? And even for East Africans. Okay, fair enough. Okay, that's or for tourists entering any of those zones. So fair enough, that works. Good. Now that's like a long-term goal, right? But then long-term goals mean nothing if you're not clear of what your short-term goals are. So what would you call your short-term goals? Now we're gonna ask you.
Okay, that's making sure I'm going and doing it now.
Okay.
Get property that are credible.
Okay.
And to get allocation and also verifiable documents.
I like that, right? I'm gonna draw something from what you just said to teach people something. Please listen to this. Whenever you are building for the long term, pay attention to how you build in the short. Hold on a minute. A lot of people think, for once, that when they want to build for the long term, they will have to move social classes along the way to attract customers in a different social class. Hang on a minute. How many of you know the founder of Old School Africa? He was the founder of Techpoint also, Adewale Yusuf. Okay? He and his guys. There's something Adewale Yusuf said that struck me so well. He said that, do you know 2029? Always put dates to stuff. It makes you sound more serious. Are you aware that if I say by 2028 I'll be getting married, it sounds more convincing than 2020, than saying in the next 3 years I'll get married? You guys don't get it. Saying by 2027 we're going to have built blah 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 sounds more convincing than saying in 2 years I will do that. There's just something about dates that adds to your appeal and makes you more convincing. Are you getting what I'm saying? So next thing you must align your brand with your professional aspirations. And so you must look like where you are going to. You must begin to sound like what your company aims to achieve. So right now, every single post that you make, every single way you appear, must appear like somebody who is trying to achieve and attain these goals professionally. That's good. I'm going to check them later. Let me just focus on this for now. There's a reason my time is on this is going so fast, really fast. And so, are you getting what I'm saying? And so what you must do is you must align you must brand rather with your professional aspirations. The next thing you must do is you must set measurable milestones to track your progress. Set measurable milestones to track your progress. You must set measurable milestones to track your progress. And I'm going to tell you how to set those milestones in a bit, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. And so, these few points are very important. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you some very interesting action points that will help you with some form of focus areas. So let's go to the next slide. You know what? Before I go to the next slide, there's something I want to teach quickly. It is that you must have some sense of clarity of your identity from the beginning. You must have some form of clarity of identity from the beginning. You must have clarity of identity from the beginning. What this means, for example, is the fact that every single way I choose to appear, I must be intentional about it. Are you getting my point? There must be some sense of clarity of identity from the beginning. But hold on a bit, just so we don't get ahead of ourselves. The next thing is you must define your identity. By that I mean, what makes you so different? Now let me tell you something very interesting. Something very interesting. With clarifying what makes you different, the clarification can many times come from things that you hate about yourself. I'll explain exactly what that means. For some people, they run away from their background, while some smart entrepreneurs, on the other hand, they use their background to sell their future. How many of you know the name Ola of Lagos? How many of you know that guy is probably top 10 most influential people in the automobile space in Nigeria? He stands and ranks almost as high on buying decisions made on vehicles as even the CEOs of some automobile companies. The same statement is plenty that made him sound like an illiterate 5 years ago is now what is making him a bona fide billionaire in Naira today. And so, you need to define your identity, what makes you different, what you offer that others don't, and what exactly your unique selling point is. But before that, let's have a very quick hang on what the storytelling has to look like. So what exactly makes you different? What makes you different? There's no one in this particular room that, for example, has the same story as the next person beside them. Nobody. Nobody. And I really want you to think deeply about this. There's nobody that has or tells the same story as the person beside them. Let me give you a very beautiful scenario. I'm Olushola. Tragedy struck in my life when at the age of 7, I lost my dad, my earliest mirror of possibilities, who was a lawyer, a profession I had aspired to delve into at some point in my career, or at some point in my life. And so from the age of 7, I had to grow up very early. And one way or another, I became a precocious kid. A precocious kid is a kid who is years ahead of his age. And so growing up fast meant that I had to take responsibility for the trajectory of my life early enough. At 12, I had already written a book. At 15, I was done with secondary school. At 15, get admission to university. I was raised by an empathic mother, which meant that I just built an affinity for people. I'd always been a people person, but more importantly, I just love, by reason of my upbringing, the beauty of impacting people and impacting lives. My goal has always been to leave people in a better state than how I met them. And so I went through school with one thing in my mind, to be a person of impact. Well, you might ask, how did I end up as an entrepreneur? Well, I knew from the beginning that for me to impact people, I needed some form of income. Because income many times helps you extend the level and the trajectory of your impact across the world. And so I delved into entrepreneurship because I knew how to help people solve their problems and in return make them give me some money for it. But as time went on, I never lost cause or lost track of the very thing I wanted to do, which was to inspire generations of people in tens of thousands and even in millions. And so I stand before you today as an inspirational speaker and business consultant and someone who has affected lives in their millions. I'm a thought leader in the business and leadership space, and I reach over 2 million people every single month, with a following that spans almost 800,000 across the social media space. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Olushola, and I have what is proverbially called the gift of the gab, which means when I speak to people, they get inspired. Now, I just shared a short story that I did not write before, but came from my head. But the reason you are buying into that short story is because I took you on my journey from the beginning. Yes or yes? But here's the problem. Many of you are hiding your journey because you don't want people judging you from your past or judging you by your background. Whereas, exposing that background could be the reason they are drawn to you. Some of you are from very humble backgrounds. Talk about it. If Cosmos Maduka shares a story with you, it could be the reason you fall in love with him much more. If people from humble beginnings tell you how they had to navigate through several obstacles and struggles before they got their big break, if they tell you their story, it could be the reason you fall in love with them more. Let me tell you this. People don't buy products, they buy emotions and experiences. I'm likelier to buy from somebody who's got an impeccable character and an amazing attitude and a lovely story to what they are selling than to someone else who might have an amazing product. Because it's the emotions and experiences that help you build trust. Is this making sense? Is this making sense?
Yes,
So you must tell a different story. Hi, God, if I was in the real estate industry in this country, it cannot contain me and everybody. It's either I have taken everybody's money. I'll give you a very beautiful example. I can't market land the same way you market land. Hey, give me anything to market for you now. Tell me. Maybe a property somewhere.
A golf estate.
Okay.
In Abuja, the first of its kind.
This man wants to make me market his work. I'll take somebody else. Somebody else. A property in Kuji. That's so random, but by property, they didn't give me this specification. You know what? Let me just help you market your property. Hold on. Another person marketing that property. Let's say it's an expanse of land. Nothing built on it yet. You very likely just hear, there's this property. Yeah, the one that they overuse in Lagos State is not too far from Dangote Refinery. No. Right.
As you can see.
As you can see. If I were marketing it, I'll tell you an interesting story. Recently, I met Amina, a 13-year-old Nigerian girl whose tragic experiences have shaped her life. At the age of 7, Amina lost her dad to a tragic motor accident. And by reason of that, the mom struggled to send her and put her through school. However, thanks to the government's intervention, she was able to be enrolled in an amazing public school. And then the biggest problem for them became where to lay their heads. When I met Amina hawking on the street, I became drawn to her. Not because I was drawn to a young girl who is 13 and walking on the street and is supposed to be in school, or rather at home doing her homework, but instead because I was drawn to Amina because when she spoke, she sounded so educated. And as I approached her, I asked, what an intelligent girl like you doing hawking plantain at 8 p.m. in Kuje? Aren't you supposed to be home doing your assignment? And crazily, Amina replied and said, now this is a long story, you can cut the short part out of it. Hold on. Amina replied and said, we don't have where we are staying. And as I probed further, I found out that Amina's dad, while alive, was actually a well-to-do man who made the wrong financial decisions. Instead of spending money on cash-producing assets or valuable assets, he spent money on things that weren't assets. I heard that at the point of his demise, he had about 2 cars to his name, but had no property to his name. Despite having told his wife not to work, but stay at home to focus on the upbringing of the children. Now, 6 years after, one way or another, his children are reaping the dividends of his wrong financial decisions. Now, when we talk about real estate, we're not talking about something that you should try investing in, but instead, we're talking about something that kind of helps you secure the future one way or another. And when I mean the future, I'm not talking about your future. I'm talking about the future of your offspring, one way or another. When you own a property, it not only creates wealth for you, the wealth could be transgenerational. So I have a question. 30 years from now, will your children look back and say, I'm grateful for daddy's financial wins or financial wins, for example? Don't be like Amina's dad. secure the future for your children today from as low as 50,000 naira monthly. Do you understand? From as what? As low as 50,000 naira monthly. You can shape the future of your children. Let me tell you something. The difference between that and saying, there's a property in Kuje, 1 plot, 2 plot, 3 plot. Now, don't get me wrong. I told a sub story. What will keep you watching the video is the sub story, yes or yes? And then in the end, I will drop a property, yes or yes, at the end. Don't get me wrong. This wasn't pre-planned, so it doesn't have to be that long. But I'm saying that you could be the storytelling realtor. And sometimes, don't let them see your story coming. In fact, some will say, this lady, she will tell you an emotional story just to make you buy land. So sometimes, display land in a different way. Sometimes, act a skit to sell land. Who here has not seen the ad for a parfait brand, Melanie Pie? Melanie something. If you're in Lagos, you'll have seen it. You've seen this ad? Here's my point. Sometimes be known. Who knows this guy who told you? Who knows this Giwa Gardens guy? Who knows Giwa Gardens? How many of you know the story the guy gave you guys? That interesting story of how he did not have enough money to complete the stuff they were building, and a lot of people began to invest, and they crowdfunded till it was done raising the money for that expense. So here's my point. Embrace your story and don't reject it. Embrace it. For some of you, it could just be something as little as things people told you when you were small. When I was young, I was so talkative. It was so crazy. My mom would bribe me. Shola, if you can keep quiet for 1 minute, I will give you 100 naira. At the 55th second, I will mess up. And so they called you talkative. For some, they call you loquacious. Some, they call you garrulous. They call you all the adjectives for somebody who talks a lot. But what if I told you that if I wanted to tell my story today, I could use that thing that seemed like an insult or a disadvantage to captivate people? I tell them, as a young child, everyone told me I talked a lot. And honestly, I did not know why. Because I didn't think I talked a lot. But anyways, as I grew up, I understood the very reason for which I was always talking. It was because whenever I had something to say, I always told people, because hoarding, no need to hoard, hoard something, was never in my blood. And which is why you guys know in this community that I will never be told any good thing from you. So guys, it's time to share updates. What if I told you that blah, 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 blah? I'll just give you an example. Can anybody here give me something that people complained about you when you were small? Nothing really nasty, but something just, maybe you always did this and you had too many friends. Anybody?
I was a southpaw.
Okay, lefty?
Yeah.
Amazing, good, I like that. Next?
For me, it's not when I was small, but it was recent. And I felt bad. Why I felt bad was that I think I came from the emotional. Yeah, because my sister had told me that I tend to behave like a tuner, like I.
Okay.
And she said it with that, like, a flexible
Okay.
face to me.
Okay. And it got to you, right?
It got me emotional. I was pained, like, what was she saying to me? So, in this lecture, I think I'm getting something right. Because even a friend of mine told me a different thing. Though. He said I act bossy.
Okay. Alright.
So that is something that.
Alright. That's fine. Thank you very much. Now remember yesterday I told you that it's okay that you need to get in touch with what the weaknesses are, right? I will talk about. Now, hang on, I want to tell you balance. Like I said yesterday, you must ensure that your weaknesses don't come in the way of the expression of your strengths in the future. Yes or yes? Actually, you must work on the weaknesses. If people tell you you're bossy, work on it. People tell you work on it. However, let me tell you something. Sometimes, right, what people complain about are some of your proclivities that you need to harness into something good. For example, if they tell you that you talk too much, you need to find a way not to extinguish that talkativeness, but to transform it into something positive. Which means if they tell you you talk too much, are you aware that there's a difference between talking a lot and talking too much? So now, I want to downgrade it from talking too much to talking a lot. Someone who talks too much is someone who does not know when to keep quiet. Someone who talks a lot is someone that when it's time to talk, goes over and beyond. Are you getting what I'm saying? So now, many of us, we don't know how to take corrections and embrace feedback. And instead, we run back into our shell, thinking that we have done something totally wrong. Remember, when people complain about something with you, it doesn't mean that 100% of it is wrong. It could be that it just needs fine-tuning. So, sometimes when they say you talk too much, it could just be that you don't listen to people. So you have to improve what your listening skills. But if you also notice, people that they say talk a lot or talk too much are always very good eloquators. They are very, very fantastic public speakers in many cases. They're always first in projects, yes or yes. And some of the quiet guys in class will wish they were like them. So listen, and listen well. There's a balance. Are you getting my point? When you get feedback from people, when they tell you, oh, you talk too much, it's okay. Take those feedback and find how to refine yourself. And it could be okay for you to embrace a couple more extra soft skills that can improve you. Are you getting what I'm saying? However, how can I twist this, for example, to give you maybe an identity you want to put? Are you aware that you could be known as the ITK Realtor? Are you aware? I can brag for that. The I2 Realtor. You know what your page will be known for? The person who gives statistics and facts about real estate. For example, all you have to do is brand as the I2 Realtor. And I'm going to talk about that, how to build your identity, visual identity, how you can grow in thought leadership, and I'm going to talk about that today. You still have some time, right? Oh my God. It's also close by 3. This is past 2. I have to run. So here's the point. Are you flowing with me now? Please flow with me. So, I2 Realtor. Hi there, my name is Ansel. And when I was young, everyone said, you too young. Or you talk too much. Or everyone called me an ITK. And well, to be honest, it made me cry. But at some point, I did not let people's words, right, stop me from seeing some of the beauty in that honest criticism. Are you getting my point? They called me an I2 because I had a penchant for sharing knowledge with people. And so as I morphed into being a better listener and an all-round great person, I said I will never let anyone extinguish that desire to share knowledge. And look at me today. I'm the ITK or the I2 Realtor. Are you getting my point? Right? That would be an intro for you. And then an entire page, an entire brand. Look at Apoko Doctor. He's currently top 5, I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart, top 5, if not top 3, most influential Nigerians on the digital space. Many of you don't know how influential Apoko Doctor is. But have you ever gotten to a place to go and buy a drink before? And you remember one of his videos and you go for water?
Yes.
That's influence. But what's his name? Apoko what? He built a brand. Apoko, the name Apoko means I'm telling you even what you don't want to hear. Amebo, gossip. He built a brand around it. I won't be surprised if when he was younger, people called him Amebo a busybody. I'm not saying remain a busybody, but I'm saying there's a way even some of your weaknesses could point you to an area of strength. Are you getting this? It's important. So find something unique Find a way to tell your story. Auntie, what's your own again? Southpaw, right? That's lefty. Many things. Many things. You could do random stuff like a good example. What are lefties? What are lefties known for? Or what are the common things that they used to tell lefties when they were young? Stop it, right? Stop it, right? Stop it, use your right. Yes or yes? Are you aware that in the United States, I think 1 out of every 2 persons is left-handed? But here in Nigeria, just 1 out of every 5 or 4. In fact, I dare say it should be 1 out of every 6. I've forgotten the statistic right now in my head. And one of the reasons is because by natural inclination and natural wiring, I think 1 out of every 3 persons thereabout should be using their left. But in Africa, we beat people and tell them to stop doing it and to use their right. Yes or yes? You can tell that story about how that led you to being different. When I was young, I was flogged about 25,799 times for using my left hand. That statistic doesn't exist. But no, that you can say that statistic doesn't exist. But I just formulated it to let you know the extent to which I was corrected time and again. For what? Just for using my left hand. I was corrected time and again for being different. But I didn't care. I stuck to my guns and I embraced my difference. And today, I ensure that every single thing that I do and all that I represent is something different. For years, Nigerians have been buying properties for buying sake. Nigerians have been blah, 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 blah. Today, I'm presenting you Annabelle Realty. We dare to be different by showing you that I'm not about what your real estate is giving differently. Are you getting what I'm saying? I'm not, if I have a strategy session with you, I can give you 1 billion ways to stand out. But I'm trying to tell you that sometimes what will sell you is in that story. Have you heard this about Victor Simeon that I used to walk before? That's part of what makes his personal brand relatable to the average Nigerian on the streets. He's a beacon of hope. He's not just a footballer. He can run for office in the next 10 years because of that. Are you aware? Those limitations, those horrible experiences you face in life. Are you aware I can tell a very crazy story or cook up one nasty story and say when I was young and in dating scene, my girlfriend broke up with me for a very weird reason. How many of you remember the era of midnight calls? Where you could make calls from 12:30 to 4:30. All you needed to have was 100 naira. And on a particular day, I loaded credit, 100 naira. But little did I know that my younger sister, at the instruction and the behest of my mother, had changed the clock timing and increased it or fastened it by 10 minutes, just in a bit to make us hurry to get to school earlier. And on that Tuesday night, I had waited for all the doors to be locked and for me to be left alone in the sitting room. Just so I could finally tell this girl, the love of my life, and the person I've been talking to for the longest, that I knew I had some competition. And so I wanted to be ahead of the curve to ask her out on a Tuesday, knowing full well that our other suitors want to ask her out on Wednesday or Thursday. And as the days went by, at 11:59, at least the normal time, not knowing that it had been increased by 10 minutes, which meant it was 11:49. I sat down, held water, and picked the lines where I wrote what I wanted to profess to her. And at 12 on the dot, instead of waiting to 12:01, I rang. And as she picked up to say, "Hello, it's not yet 12 now," my jaw dropped and my life flashed in front of my eyes. Because the moment the call cut, I could see that I had just 97 naira 40 kobo left. And I couldn't call her back. And the babe, typical teenage girl there, broke. That's banter. But you get what I'm saying? And that was how, guys, I lost out on a potential relationship with Jessica. But why am I telling you my sub story? From that very day, I became very fascinated with telling time and the clock accurately. Ladies and gentlemen, that was what birthed Swatch, my wristwatch company. It sounds stupid, sounds ridiculous, but what if I told you people buy experiences and buy emotions before they buy products? And so, the motto of the company is simple. We tell time or tell the clock accurately. Or you could tell a sub story about how you missed out on the contract because you were 2 minutes late. And use that to sell a company. I repeat, there's something that makes you different. Find out what it is. Did you hear? Yes. Find out what it is. So you must have your unique selling point. This one is important. What will start now? Remember, telling your story is also different from your USP, but are related. The unique selling point is okay, guys, okay. Everybody else sells property. Remember what I told you guys earlier? I will sell with visual brilliance. I told you about my friend Yinka Ramos, right? He will sell with visual brilliance. So Yinka was going around with videographers at a time where most real estate people only passed pictures around 7-8 years ago. He was doing much more. Then drones became very popular in Nigeria. But just before people started to use them for real estate, it was ahead of the curve. For some of you, you need to be ahead one way or another. And let me tell you something, it could just be something very different. I was to travel on a vacation, and I used a real estate company, paid them money, they cut our throat. Me, I'm the kind of guy that outsources everything I want to do. I don't like stress. And then go and start picking where I want to stay on the website. No, go and curate it, come back and meet them, I'll pay you for your time. Because you're helping me what? Save time, right? So now look at what happens. We paid the real estate company in millions of naira. Millions of naira. And after paying them, everything was set. And something interesting happens. Long after I paid them, on my birthday, I'm at home and my security knocks the door. Hello, sir. No, not security, but my driver knocks the door. Sir, I have a package for you. Someone delivered this. I said, what is it? It was a cake. By the travel agency. I didn't remember giving them my date of birth. But guess what? I had given them the biodata page of my international passport. So they were smart and wise enough to add something as little as that to their database and got a prompt that it was my birthday and paid fastest cakes to deliver a cake to my doorstep. Let me tell you something. As little as that gesture is, from now to the next 10 years, they're the only ones I'll be using. Some of you, you don't know how to get on the great and emotional side of your existing customers and you're expecting them to refer you. Someone bought property of 15 million naira from you last year. December came, Christmas came. 30,000 naira hamper, you know buy. Hamper. Ordinary hamper. Pun intended. Yeah? How many of you know the Jennifer Hudson show? How many of you have seen this video recently where the guy who acted as Jean-Pierre in Mufasa? Jean-Pierre, that's Mufasa! Jean-Pierre, that's Mufasa! Let me tell you something. There's almost nothing different about Jennifer Hudson's show. The questions are the questions you hear almost everywhere. But one of the reasons I will be likely to go for that show as a guest is not because it's just another talk show, but just that simple element that you add to the experience pulls me and draws me closer. So when people go for the show, at the doorstep, there's a group of people lined up, singing and dancing for them. That is more unforgettable than even the show itself. My question, when people buy from you, do you just leave them alone? When people buy from you, what do you think will keep them thinking about you? Today is not for sales. If not, there are some things I'll have told you that, see, if you give me 100 customers, and no ad budget for Meta and social media and Instagram and Facebook, I will milk those guys and my revenue will keep improving every year. So what will stand you out? What makes you different? When you close deals with people, do you leave them alone or do you call them back to check in 3 months after and ask them if they want to start building? It could even be a good time to chip in an after sales service. Maybe link them up with the contractor or do something. Can I advise you guys? Just one trick. It could be that everybody who buys a product from you gets a free ebook from you. The ebook is, what do I do now after my property has been bought? 7 practical steps on how to move from landowner to homeowner. Amen, amen. Did you see what I just said? Can you see how simple that sounds? It could be a difference. Because the moment someone feels like, oh, this guy cares about me not just buying land from him, but owning a home, it builds more trust. And it also means that you're not running anywhere if you call back and check up on me 3 months and 6 months after. Call your clients as random. Save their numbers on your work WhatsApp and check your WhatsApp status many times. Can I tell you guys this? There has to be something that reminds your customers of you at least every month. Anybody here knows Domino's Pizza? There's nobody here that doesn't know it, have you? God bless you. Domino's Pizza are in every major local government and every major city in Nigeria. Yet, if you ever bought from them, chances are that every single week you get a message from them telling you about one new sale, or one new this, or one new that. You are still 2 years or 3 years in business. Do they update WhatsApp status again? Sapa will flog you. Are you with me? There's something that what stands you out. Are you with me now? Very important. So I thought about having a story. Next up, you have to develop a visual identity. Develop what? How many of you can remember what I told you from the beginning? We explored Debola Lagos, we explored Tony Olumide, we explored so many things. So many times, I'm a firm believer in this reality. That look, if you don't want to be out there, you must have so much money to keep your business alone out there. Should I repeat it? Let me tell you. There are some serial entrepreneurs who own companies and businesses but remain under the rock and choose not to show themselves. But 99.9% of those cases, those guys have money to float their empires without their faces being shown in the public. Are you getting my point? But listen, you don't have that advantage right now. You don't have 20 billion naira you're not using. So the first point of identity for your business must be you. At the beginning of that enterprise, you are the alpha and the omega. You are the accountant, you are the chief salesperson of your business. So you can't hide. In fact, if you sell yourself, your business sells. And if you choose not to sell yourself, your business doesn't sell. And so this is a very interesting tipping point. You must build a visual identity. You must. You must look clean. Your brand must look clean. And one thing I want to beg you guys for is that stop being shy to spend money to make money. Because tell me why you are still using Canva instead of Canva Plus or Canva Pro to make a simple logo design. costs too much. Let me tell you something. Every excuse you give not to improve on your service quality might sound legitimate, but excuses are the building blocks to which you build a house of failure. And that's the truth. As long as you have money for a new dress, you have enough money to invest in your brand. Pay people. Sometimes learn to build relationships that will not require much payment. I remember several years ago, when I was starting my clothing company, I knew my way around the market. I knew how to get fabrics. I knew how to measure people. I learned that in 10 minutes. And then I'll go around, measure folks, get fabrics, give tailor, go and do quality control, go back and take it to the customer, blah, 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 blah. Now, I was dealing with suits, bespoke suits. And so, one thing was lacking. I wanted to grow my page online, but I didn't have money to pay a photographer. Because I was starting my business with about just 30-something thousand naira to make about 2 suits for myself. I know what I did? I got to church and I leveraged community. One of my friends who was a photographer at church, I just teased him one day. I said, bro, how far now? Just take me 2 shots after church. Hope say you don't mind. Let me tell you something. Some of us, there are bad attitude that has chased people away. I will never forget him, Emmanuel Okori, my friend. And after he took me those pictures, there was one of those pictures that became really viral. And that was what announced me as the fine boy who makes suits for fine men. And that's how we started. Then he would take me after church. By the 4th or 3rd picture, I made a suit for him for free. And that was how the relationship blossomed. Some of us might need to leverage. Some of my videos you see online, I was using my phone before. One of my close friends was taking me. After that, that close friend of mine bought a digital camera. And I will go all the way to Ikorodu to sit in his house. And he will film me, edit it, and I will post online. And my followers grew from 7,000. I repeat, my followers grew from 7,000 in August. And by December ending, I had grown to 118,000. I had what to say, but somebody else had the tools to amplify my voice. And so you must invest in visual identity. Some of you, your cousin, he knows how to do logo. There's no excuse. And if your cousin doesn't get it right, pay somebody else who will. Some of you say, I'm a luxury realtor. Luxury realtor. But your logo be like something where I don't know. So you must invest in what? In visual identity. I repeat, you must invest in what? Visual identity. So colors also. Invest in the right colors. Invest in what? The right colors. Invest in the right colors. Show up well. Next up, you must invest in images. Can I tell you guys something? I speak freely. But you see, if you are here right now and you call yourself a realtor and you don't have a professional headshot, you are not serious. Let me tell you something. Investing in pictures, I'm inside talks. Please. Investing in pictures and stuffs that you think might waste your money could actually be worth making more money. Earlier in the year, I had a strategy meeting with my team. And next thing, my private team this time around, and about 2 or 3 of them entered my office. Sir, we need new headshots. We're tired of the old ones. I said, we can't gang up with this now. And they told me, he has to be so and so photographer. I'm like, do you charge a stupid amount of money? How do you want me to? I was just teased. I said, no, wahala. I listened to them. I picked up the call, rang the guy up. He came to my house. When we were done, he sent me his bill. It was in 7 figures. I paid the money. Did he pinch me? Yes, a bit. But I paid the money not because I had money to waste. I paid the money because I understood the value of professional headshots. And not just any other professional headshot. Professional headshot had to come from someone credible because I was building a credible brand. T.Y. Bello charges close to 10 million naira now for a shoot. What differentiates T.Y. Bello's pictures from somebody else's pictures? There will not be anything major. But the reason people are paying T.Y. Bello is for perception. If you see my photo on my page and it is T.Y. Bello that snapped it, your regard for me goes up. Know how you want to see him. Stop all this stop and rub and shine photography. Don't get me wrong, some of you might not have the money to pay a top tier photographer, at least for starters. But here's what I'm saying: clean up nice, go to a nice studio, put your face in front of the camera, and ask them to give you stuff. And post it across all your social media. And reintroduce yourself to people. Are you getting what I'm saying? I'm telling you this because your industry is so saturated right now with some people who have no iota of branding. So something has to set you apart. Are you getting me now? Are you getting me now?
Yeah.
Very important. Next up, you need to build some consistency across platforms. And you must align visuals with your message. So for example, if you are going to be a realtor that has to appear bold to people, the way you take your headshots must look bold. Don't take headshots with a round neck. You are CEO now. Round neck. No. Go and borrow tie, borrow suit. Buy if you can afford it. You must look the part of what you said. Did you hear what I said? You must look the part. And part of your visual identity is appearing the way you want to be addressed. Whenever you're going to see a client, let me tell you something very interesting. You know, like I said, I'm trying to tailor this to my audience. Are you with me? If I was speaking to a different audience, I would have spoken in a different type of way. But please hold on. And please flow with me. When I did a post recently, I was talking about car pay, no car stuff. And someone said, are you saying that if I want to go and see my client, what if I don't have no Uber is expensive? And I laughed. I said, calm down. I said, oh my God. You're asked to MC an event, and you're still at a low level when you still charge about 100,000 to MC an event. And you show up as an MC, all sweaty, and you come down from Keke to enter into the venue. Do you think the bouncer will not start by bouncing you first? Listen, anytime you invest money in trying to elevate or improve or stay consistent with your personal brand, is not a waste of money. That 5,000 naira extra that you spend on Uber for a 40,000 naira job is not a waste of money. Trying to save 2,000 naira could be at the expense of losing a customer. The fact that you show up clean and dry and not sweaty could amount to much more than you ever imagined. I'm telling you the truth. So sometimes these very little, seemingly minor details could change a lot of things. For example, why are you showing up for an inspection with rumpled clothes? How much will it cost to iron? It costs nothing. Sometimes bulk iron. Iron ahead. Sometimes it's okay if you have only 4 shirts. Mix those 4 shirts and always show up correct. Having a good body spray must be a no-brainer. Yesterday I was packing my bags to travel. It's very early in the morning. And so I packed my perfumes, packed stuff, packed this one, packed that one. And as I saw my wife said, you not packed your sprays? I laughed, oh my God. And I ran back, picked up my sprays and left. Here's what I always say. Before you invest in anything else, can I tell you something? Hey God, I'm getting there. Before you invest in anything else, invest in your smell. invest in your smell. When they come closer, it must match with what they saw from afar. And sometimes roll-on and body spray is better than perfume. When people hug you, don't let them regret their lives. Am I speaking? Next up, please note this and note this well. Looking clean and neat is more important than looking expensive. Before you buy designer, make sure your white is white. Can I tell you something? There's a way you will appear wearing native from a roadside tailor that makes you neater than somebody who wore a Ferragamo but appears neat, but appears rough. Some say, are you saying we should steal this fake life? It's not expensive. You're not just wise enough to go to some markets and find out where you can buy some materials that are quality but still affordable, and give to some tailors that are quality but also affordable. It's not by force you wear designer. It is first most important that you appear appealing enough. So sorry, man. I want to use you as an example. The Ankara you are wearing, I don't think it's up to 5K, 10K per year. Am I lying? It's not. If you show up in my office to pitch something to me, I'm likelier to listen to you than somebody else who just shows up with designers but has no appeal. Sometimes it's as little as even the makeup you apply. Let me tell you something. As a lady, showing up in makeup many times shows that you mean business. And I'm not saying wear mascara, wear this one, wear that one. I'm simply saying show up like somebody who means business. Understand the basics of self-grooming, for example. Brushing your tongue helps your breath not smell. It's not about brushing the teeth. Spraying your wrists makes a world of difference than just spraying your body. Spraying your neck and the back of your ears say a lot more than other things. Are you getting what I'm saying? I'm going to tailor it to your context. Can I shock you even more? There are some Dubai or Arab perfs or Malam perfs you should buy before you go and save money to buy designer. When you enter, when people say, Sometimes your perfumes are conversation starters. Some of you, as little as learning or combining colors is, it could be what elevates your brand. Why are you mixing pink and purple and brown and yellow? Calm down. So you must what? Invest in what? Grooming tips. Does that make sense? Next thing, guys, you need to learn to build a media presence. So now you have a story. Now you have what? A story. You have a story. Now you have a unique selling point. But it will not matter what you have and what you know until you know how to sell what it is that you know. Let me tell you something, guys. Some people who don't know half of what you know are commanding 10 times more the money that you are commanding. Not because there's anything different with them, but it's just that they know how to sell themselves to a wider audience. And so, this slide talks about it. It says, be active across relevant platforms. You are a realtor. I have a question to ask you guys. When you're selling stuff to people, or when someone comes to sell stuff to you in this day and age, what's the first question you ask them? Can I see your page? 20 years ago, that wouldn't have been something people ask. They ask, can I see your office? Are you aware right now, 75% of offices, particularly post-COVID, have been rendered redundant? can I tell you the office people see is your media presence. If I go on your Instagram page right now, what am I seeing? What are you showing me? Let me tell you something, guys. It only takes a glance to know if you are serious or not. If I check your page and what I see is the size of your nyash before I see the property you are selling, you are unserious. You are a call girl disguising as a realtor. And that's the truth. If I also go on your page and the first thing I see are your expensive wristwatches as a guy, you are giving Yahoo boy vibes and you think you are a realtor. Listen and listen well. Your page must project your core competencies and what it is you are selling at first glance. The right things must be pinned to your profile. Your bio must describe what it is that you represent. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
I said, am I making sense?
Yes.
It's very important. I'm coming and see there. So you must be a presence. And next thing is that you must do this strategically. Please listen. I'm begging you. Your presence must be felt across board. And I said always to build a media presence. And one of the things that this does for you is that it also helps you build some form of thought leadership. I mentioned this earlier, that one of the ways that people get drawn to you is when they sense that you've got knowledge for them. And so if you are ever selling something, one thing you must do is you must anticipate the questions of people and answer them ahead of time. So one of the things I want to advise you to do is this. Research the FAQs, the frequently asked questions in your industry. How do I identify a plot of land? How do you learn about the title of a land? Identify all of them. The frequently asked questions in your industry. Every single one of them. Write it down. 15, 20. I know what you do. Answer questions about them already. Either typed to be designed in a carousel. Either what? Typed and designed in a carousel. Or designed as some form of video. Or stuff you talk about. So you must build your what? Build your media presence. This is important. Build your what? Build your media presence. There are some platforms you cannot miss out on. Only on Instagram. What happened to LinkedIn? And whatever platform you enter, speak their lingua. In LinkedIn, everything is I'm thrilled to announce. I'm thrilled to everybody get a lie. I'm thrilled to announce. Either many of them lie, or they just find a way to blow things out of proportion. I'm not saying you should lie. I'm saying learn to accentuate your main selling points. Learn to what? Accentuate your main selling points. Emphasize what you did last year. Ogamisa, you closed better deals than you closed in 2023. Who knows that? Nobody. You are here telling me you rather not share, sir. But let me tell you, I'm not saying share figures. I'm saying share your story on LinkedIn. When I entered into the year 2024, I was blown with so much enthusiasm and so much passion to scale and do better than the previous year. And thankfully, myself and my group of realtors, or thankfully from us at so realtors, were able to scale beyond our wildest imagination, leading to a fruitful year, having gathered about 80% increment revenue-wise. Does that sound appealing or not? Does that build trust or not? What are your digital footprints? When people Google you, what comes out? Exactly. What comes out? So you want to keep it till later? I was asking now. Huh?
I'll let you just ask now.
I'm not so sure.
Okay.
Let's keep it till later, don't worry.
Yeah.
I don't want to rush like. Are you with me? Then another thing also is when you do that, you must learn to show up and show up consistently. It will not matter that you start posting on Instagram. Did you hear what I said? What will matter is that you post consistently. Let me share something very interesting with you. Earlier in the year, I told my team, I said, guys, this year we have to increase our volume. Last year we posted on Instagram on an average 4 times a week. I said, now we're going to post between 14 and 25 times a week. They didn't bother arguing or saying, because they knew I knew what I was saying. And so now, every single day from Monday to Friday, a post goes up in the morning and a post goes up in the evening. I know what they saw. Within a number of days, the following had grown by almost, right now, as I told you this morning, about 18,000 new followers. What am I saying? I've added to just one page on Instagram. Another page has had almost 15,000. Not just that. I employed a young lady to come and intern with me. And she has only 2 assignments. Post on Facebook and post on LinkedIn. I started posting on Facebook 2 times every single day. Guys, in 2.5 months, the Facebook page has grown by 45,000 followers. Just because she posted every single day. So here's the thing. One of the greatest ingredients with building a personal brand is not just showing up, but showing up consistently. Can I tell you the truth? One of the major things you must learn with content creation is that you must learn how to move past that self-doubt that makes you think that your post is not worthy of posting. Can I shock you? Some of my posts that have done millions in views, I hated them. That means here, you think I'm lying. 60% of the videos I post, I don't like them. I am my biggest critic. I feel I should have said something better. Or I feel they did not cut it out properly. I just feel there's one problem after another. So here's the thing. Perfection is always the enemy of progress. And as you strive for excellence, you must ensure that your suckerness, quote and unquote, or your crave for excellence does not rob you off of progress. You will never always get it perfectly. None of you will never be able to always use a digital camera every time for content creation. Your sound might not always be perfect. But do your best to get great sound. But start from where you are and keep on growing. Later on, you will have to reshoot some videos and archive the old ones. But keep growing that way. And can I shock you? Never be dismayed or discouraged by the small numbers. Because now from small numbers, number they big. Nobody starts a journey at step 50. We all begin from step 1. No one climbs the stairs from the 2nd floor. We all start from the ground floor. And which means you must embrace progress more than anything else. Let me tell you something very strange. How many are we here, guys? Roughly 25, right? So about 30, right? Some of us get 30 likes on our posts and we feel like we're failures. But see 30 likes here. Can I shock you? What you see here is lesser than 30 likes, or rather lesser than more than 30 views, because it's for an average of every 7 viewers that you get 1 like, typically. And so, do you know how many celebrities and CEOs are following me but don't even like my work? But we see somewhere else they're like, oh my God, I follow you back to back. I say, I know, but you know they like. Some just suck at liking. I have to wrap up now. I need to go out to one break. But can you give me a few more minutes? Huh? Like that. Thank you. Are you getting what I'm saying? And so you must show up consistently. And you must understand that it creates a ripple effect when we keep on showing up. And let me tell you something. Some of us are always looking for that one post that will blow us. And you forget that Even if one post can bring people, it takes more posts to keep them. There's a reason someone can have 10 million views on a particular post, but still have only 5,000 followers. You know why? People were drawn through that post, but when they came, they did not see any promise for more value. Because it's only that one post or two or three that you have on your page. But when your page becomes an amazing center for attraction, people will follow you because you'll be consistent. And consistency is the proof of concept. Now when people come to your page, there's a promise for more. So show up. Draw up a content calendar if need be. That every single Friday, I will go live on my Instagram. Even if 2 people are there. You didn't hear me. Every single Monday morning, I will post, give a tip about real estate, even if only 2 people like it. The other night I told you that I moved from 7,000 followers, to how many thousand followers? In 4 months. Can I shock you? You talk about followers I had before. If I have it as likes on my post, the post will not do well now. A lot of people admire results and they don't fall in love with the processes. Reviews. Nobody wants to climb the stairs. Are you getting what I'm saying? This personal brand building will take time. It will take painstaking efforts. And so once you define your brand and define your story, and once you know your unique selling point, it's time to show up. Show up on every media you can show up. Before, people showed up. I remember Abi was talking to my people at my last masterclass how he built Nigeria's first sports betting website through newspaper. You put ad on newspaper. Now people put ads via social media. That money that you are spending to buy food that is unnecessary, you won't go chop for one place where nobody they won't see you for. Convert that money and use half for Instagram ads. Properly, just go on YouTube. How to place ads strategically to meet my target audience. Fine tune it. Tell the targeting to look for men or women. It's a known fact more men buy properties than women. Yes or yes? Yes. 85% of your clients are men. Yes or yes? It's the truth. It's the truth. But remember, I told you also. Remember the influencer, right? So sometimes just target 30-something-year-old to 50-something-year-old around Guarimpa, Maitama, Life Camp. Targets. You get what I'm saying? Targets. There are some rooms you will not be able to get into by virtue of your limited access. You can't get into a room with a politician at all. But guess what? Your ads can get you into those rooms. Am I making sense? Your ads can show your work to people you never dreamt of seeing in your life. Target it. You know why I like Instagram? It's invasive. It invades everybody's privacy. Something where you don't want to see. And which is why, whenever you are creating those contents, you must tailor make them in such a compelling fashion. Your hook matters the most. Your hook is your first 5 seconds. Never start a video by saying, hey guys, it's your girl Tessie again. Your real estate ITK, I will deck you. It's no problem. It's your girl Tessie, are you joking? I've wasted money for ads. Why would I want to hear it's your girl Tessie? Imagine I start with a crazy statistic. What if I told you that 40% of the people who buy properties in Nigeria fall into real estate scams? Here are 5 things to avoid. My God. I don't care who you are. If you start with that line, the person will watch the next 10 seconds. Amen? Amen. Stop thinking the average person cares about your content. Let me tell you the truth. There's a reason comedians get more views than motivational speakers on Instagram. See, I'm telling you this because I say this every sense of humility. There are few people, and I'm trying to be very humble by saying this, few people in Nigeria that create business content and gather the kind of numbers I gather. Very few. Maybe one or two, if at all. Take it from someone who gathers arguably the most views and the most likes and shares on business content in the country. Comedians gather more than us. Times 10, times 5. You know why? Because when the average person goes on social media, let's be honest, many of them don't go to learn. They go to relax. A skit relaxes them more than your plenty talk. And so if you are going to talk, you must make it memorable. Did you hear what I said? Your sound must be clear. Invest in the right things. Stop talking in the echo chamber. Hello, 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 hello. My name. You mind? Buy mic. In my opinion, this is other priority. Are you aware? You haven't prioritized it. My team know. There is nothing on God's green earth that we need to buy to make our work easier than we don't buy. Are you getting me? Are you getting me? Leader and create content that positions you as an authority. Now, someone asked a question yesterday to Talikash, and I want to answer that question. Who was that lady? That's something about authority. Can you imagine? I didn't want to jump into that conversation because it wasn't my session. I wanted to answer a question now. Let me explain. There's a dynamic you need to learn. Is everyone with me? Oh my God, they didn't pass. You need to go on your break, right? I have to close now. You can be patient. Who's supposed to go up after me? The break is supposed to be how long? 30 to 1 hour. Can you just do 30? Can I take 30 minutes out of your break?
Yes.
Do you mind? If you mind, I will go. Alright, so someone asked Talikash a question. We don't feel like you don't know enough. Let me tell you something. 2 things. And please learn this, please. Number 1, will you ever know enough to share a lot? No. And also, can I know enough to share a lot? Yes. I'll explain the dynamics to you. In my opinion, flow with me. In my opinion, a lot of us know enough to share from the little that we know. But some way, somehow, through second guessing and imposter syndrome, we have robbed ourselves of the opportunities to become voices. So a lot of people know enough to share from their wealth of knowledge, but they are second guessing themselves thinking what they know is not enough. Are you getting this? Whereas, on the other hand, the people who are sharing a lot don't know as much as you know. And which is why you need to learn to stand on both feet. Number 1, the feet of enough gems on your inside, and the other feet of projecting the gems that you know. So here's what I'm going to advise you, and it's a balance. The first balance is build an insatiable desire for knowledge. And number 2, as you learn, teach. There's something called input and output ratio. If you take in so much without giving out some, there's going to be a problem. And very soon, what you took in, you won't remember. How many of you know that you are likely to remember what you teach other people? Case in point, tutorials in school. At the university, I used to teach my classmates tutorials. I did tutorials back then without any notes. Now you can understand why I don't like looking at my slides because it annoys me sometimes. And most of these I'm saying I'm not looking at my slides. And that way, I harness my potentials a lot more. But very importantly, what was being taught became first nature to me. And so I won't forget it in class because I explained it to somebody. You know what I'm talking about? I can have a conversation with someone and draw 10 content ideas from that simple conversation. So some of you, there are ways to improve this. There are ways to improve it. Ways. Some people would employ the tool of AI, for example. Hi Siri, or hi AI, or hi Grok, or hi, there's a new one now, DeepSeek. My name is blah 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 blah. This was my experience last week at a site with a client. I would like to curate this into at least 5 different content options to share on social media for about 35 seconds to 50 seconds. Kindly help me. The content don't come. But also, AI does not replace your intelligence, for God's sake. Stop reading out everything that is on ChatGPT. Always try to apply it to what? To your context. Am I making sense? Am I making sense? And you show up and you show up correctly. So you must learn to share your insight and share your experience. Next thing, you must leverage strategic networking. Anybody here who has ever walked up to a lady to get her number? Guys, raise your hand if you have never collected a girl's number before. Damn me, only you. Any guy here who has never collected a lady's number before? Stop writing. Let's look at me now. Any guy here who has never collected a lady's number? Answer. So everybody don't collect number for me.
I never collect.
You never collect? Answer number why now? You see, when I was younger, guys, when I was younger, there's something we used to call point and kill. Point and kill back then in secondary school and early university days. Myself and my friends would just go out for no reason. As a good boy, they just point at the girl and say, go and collect her number. And that was all. And then that way we were training ourselves to be number collectors. However, as I grew up in life, I heard some ladies make statements like, I don't mind giving a guy my number. When he calls me, I'll just block him. Or I don't mind giving a guy my number as long as I'm not dating. Are you aware of who don't mind? And do you see a relationship between that and how many of us network today? You boast to your friends, I asked so and so senator's number. Or I spoke to this person and he gave me his card. Let me tell you something. Collecting number is not networking. Some HNIs give you their cards just so they can run away from you fast. Some give you number so you stop chatting. I want. I go and speak. They're surrounding me. And I'll be honest with you. Ask yourself some very deep questions. What makes you different from the other people that came? I told you that guy came to me and said, I sell yam for you. And I come to him and said, let me see your page. You don't reach one point where you go network. Now the networkee, when they ask you, networker, say they want to know you more. I want to speak somewhere. One of the men I looked up to all my life walked up to me and said, give me your number. I said, sir, I'm supposed to only your number. You know, I was at an event sometime. It was an event organized by the Nigerian that has raised more money than any other Nigerian living or dead. If you know who that is, you know. Eh? Fantastic. You are grounded. I like you. Bolaji Balogun. And in that meeting, how did we go together? Aha! There's several people there. You know, stakeholders, this one, that one, blah, blah, blah. And there were one or two people in the room that I like. I wanted to get their attention. But I didn't know how to because it was a very brief event. I was invited first. I was in the room. It means that I'm credible, right? But I've never spoken to BB before, and some people in the room. And so I asked the question, and when answering that question, I spoke so intelligently. I didn't start by saying, "Hello, sir." So my question is, I took the first 15 seconds to highlight who it is that I am. Did you hear what I said? Who you are, what you've done, what you're doing, and what you hope to do. And when I was done in 15 to 20 seconds, I asked my question. When I was done, the CEO of one of the biggest film festivals in the world walked up to me and said, "I wish my son could talk like you." I said, "Huh?" And she gave me a number. It was in that meeting I think I got the number of the CEO of Terra Culture. And Bolanle Peters. Oh, rest assured, BB gave me his number too. There's a way to leverage strategic networking. You must position properly. Having number doesn't even get the deal done. Because many times, as you're giving you number, you know the ones whose message you respond to and the ones you will not respond to. You know. You know, Joe. You know. Only you in your own small way. Some boys for area, they always hail you, senior man. You know you just want to leave that place at that point in time. Quick question, what will stand you out? What adds to your appeal? Could it be your introduction? Could it be what you say? Make every second count. Every second must count. Let me tell you one way. Dress in a way that people are compelled to compliment you. Are you aware that attractive dressing is not spending plenty money? It's being intentional about where you're going. I like your scarf. Particularly men. I beg. I know you always want to dress so simply. But let there just be a touch of excellence or something simple and different about you. Or the way you smile. Or the way you smile. Or your first line. Imagine someone walks up to you and you're a real estate guy. When he says, "Sir, how are you doing, sir? My name is David and I closed sales of 21 billion last year. I don't care who you are. That good thing, you sit up in that conversation. 21 billion? Hi, you? Oh? Now let's talk. That guy told me I sell yam for a living. I say, have something. Eh? Have what? Have something. And also you must learn to collaborate with relevant people. The average Nigerian likes to chop alone and are you aware that on the Forbes list, I dare say that out of the top 100 people in Forbes list, the business that shot them to fame, 99% of them barely own 100% of it. Jeff Bezos does not own up to 50% of Amazon. It was 9. I saw a stat for 9. I saw that one for 20 something. So he's thereabouts. No, he gave his wife son also. When she acquired the divorce. Don't get me started on how many percent of Microsoft Bill Gates owns. Or how many percent of Hathaway Berkshire Warren Buffett has. But the average Nigerian will always think 100%. And you forget that 100% of $1 million is smaller than 2% of $100 billion. What's wrong with us? This status symbol mentality has robbed us of the power of collaboration. And you forget that As one, you can go fast, but as two, you go far. Some of you in this room have no business building separate realtor agencies. Are you aware this problem has even crept into many things today? Our churches, everybody wants to be GO. Some people, God did not call them, He didn't flash them. Instead of calling them, He didn't even text them. They started church. Because they don't want to serve under somebody. Some people think service is subjugation. And you forget that many of the wealthiest people in the world actually employees. I read rubbish and I laugh. You can't be rich. You can't be a billionaire or running somebody else's business. Ah! Are you okay? Damn me. Some of the people who are chasing around Lagos and Nigeria now are CEOs and C-level executives of other people's businesses, and they are bona fide billionaires. It's not about either I own the enterprise or not. It is what I do with my returns. You can be a CEO, but a CEO of a 2 naira business. Title is not money. And I can be a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, of a $1 billion enterprise. And be what I am. So leverage collaboration. Some of you just need to come together and market the property together and share the money. You know what I'm talking about. Must you be CEO? Are you aware some of the greatest innovations we celebrate in Africa today are a result of collaborative efforts? Anybody here this piggy vest? You save the piggy vest. Piggy vest is arguably one of Nigeria's most sought after and most successful tech institutions. It was founded by 7 Covenant University alumnus or alumni at this point. A couple of the founders are my friends. At least 1 or 2. They started in the backyard of IBK's daddy's house. 7. 7. Not 2, not 3, not 4. Today, if I tell you how ridiculously rich each and every one of them is, your jaw will drop. Go and check it. There's barely any enterprise you celebrate today that was founded by one man and built to the top by one man. He had to let go and relinquish some part of the business for other people to come in. May you not own 100% of rubbish. This is a vital part of networking.
If I want part of it.
I like it. Are you aware that there are some men in this country that have ridiculous amount of money they are not using, don't mind investing in you, just want to stay at the back seat, and they're asking you for 30% or 40%, they have network. He said, no! Who go help you, no go stress you. Poverty knocketh and die. No. Collaborate with relevant people. Also position yourself in the right circles. Can I advise you? Positioning and access to information many times is greater than all your years of learning in school. Just position. And many times, one of the ways to position is to serve. Some of you need to close down your fake realtor enterprises and just go and serve under somebody else for 2 years. I'm serious. It sounds like a joke, but I'm serious. Because in those 2 years, even if they are paying you $1, they're not paying you any money at all. You will learn more trade secrets and have more inside information than you will ever have gathered on your own. Are you getting what I'm saying? So all of these things are vital within the confines of personal branding. Are you getting what I'm saying? So information counts. I wrap up. Next thing you must do is you must establish credibility. Establish what? Ways you do that: engage in speaking engagements, publish content that build trust. Every time you close a deal with a client, for clients that don't mind their faces being published on your story or on your Instagram page, ask them, do they mind giving you feedback? Let them say something. Some of them even want to be unknown. Publish it on your Instagram page. It's called customer feedback, or some people call it, how do they call it? Someone remind me. Customer review. When was the last time you did that? When people want to make buying decisions, they go on your page and check for credibility. These are some of the things that help. Are you getting my point? Eh?
Yes, sir.
And next thing is, you can engage in speaking engagements. Yes. And whenever you go, take picture. Post it. You know why? It's part of proof of concept. People feel like the moment someone is ever inviting you to appear on something, it means you are credible enough. I'm telling you the truth. See, if nobody invites you, create your own. Amen? Amen. Create free webinar. Host the webinar on YouTube. Do a nice design. Your webinar could be titled, How to Own a Property with No Money. Yes, sir. Eh? Yes, sir. How to what? Own a property with no money. Can I shock you? Some of you could, through that webinar, create a team of small realtors that will be your foot soldiers to get you no money. Okay, I have a question to ask you guys. Don't some of you how do I explain? Don't some of you work for some real estate companies that have properties that they want to sell, and they tell you if you can sell up to 3, you can own one? Yes or yes? What's stopping you? Find innovative ways. Your company only cares about you selling property. They don't care how you get the clients. Yes or yes? So you can build your own inner channel that will help you meet the needs of your company. And they will name you employee of the year. They don't know that other people did groundwork for you too. All that brain work. Eh? All that what? Brain work. So you must showcase your results and impact. Sir, where was the man? He's not there again. Last year or better than the previous year. Talk about it. Talk about it. Sometimes you are what people are looking for, but you have not shown it. And that's why they go somewhere else. Did you hear what I said? How many of you know Okwemi Famaki? The guy who says he's the biggest food critic in Nigeria. There's no one here who hasn't heard of him. Hate him, like him, say whatever you want. And let me tell you something. Okwe has been loud about it even when he wasn't even the biggest food critic in this village. And now when you go online and you search, Okwe is the first name that comes out when it comes to food critic in Nigeria. Listen, many times people call you what you call yourself. People what? Be the first to call yourself that thing. Don't let someone else steal your title. People call you what you call yourself. Share testimonials. Post it. Be loud about it. Because confidence and boldness is contagious. Do you hear me? It's contagious. And lastly, you must deliver consistently. Branding is not just about talking, it's about results. Can I tell you the truth? Forget all the social media paparazzi. If you deliver and deliver consistently, you will never run out of customers. Because before social media ever came, the greatest channel for marketing is something called word of mouth. And WOM never goes out of vogue. People tell people who tell people who tell people. Creates a ripple effect and a chain reaction across board. And you never run dry of customers. Listen, it may not matter who doesn't like you, but it matters who likes you. And one recommendation can cancel 100 years of suffering. So deliver. Deliver. Oh. Don't just be all mouth. and no credibility. When they finally come to you, you must deliver excellently. Excellently. Check up on your customers. Your deed of service, all your deed of land, all your stuff, follow up. If people can trust you once and you deliver twice and 3 times, they won't go anywhere else. It's you they keep coming to. People pride in the fact that they'll be using somebody for 10 years or 20 years for the same thing. So deliver consistently. People should know you as someone who delivers. Guess what? This is a reputation angle of branding. What are you reputable for? And finally, can we read this out together? I want to know.
Branding is not just a logo. It's about identity, reputation, and consistency. Stand out, tell your story, and build credibility.
Because of my time, I'll stop here. So, thank you so much. There were a lot of other things that were covered, but I had to pause here for the audience, right? And I made this a starter pack conversation.